All right, we back. In the middle, I usually don't do that. With all the success and the growth of Vlad TV, how come you still do interviews? Because I know you have a staff.
Yeah. I mean, I am still the biggest, talent and the biggest draw on Vlad TV. Like, shout out to Sean Prez, people like Sean Prez, people like Cavario, people like Coach PR, people like Renell, you know what I'm saying, Edie, there's lots of other interviewers that do work, Saigon and Havoc have a show on there and so forth.
How do you feel about that show?
I like the show.
I like it.
I like the show. I think it needs to develop still.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I just think Havoc needs to talk more.
Havoc needs to talk more. Yes. Yes. Or he needs to be doing something. Or he needs to be doing something.
Something, right? Like making a beat on the side with some.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like, so at the end, he presents the beat.
Something's gotta be happening. Something's gotta be happening.
If he was making the beat,
right? And at the end of the interview, he's like, "All right, I'm done."
Yeah. Plus, me and Saigon go back like 20 years before, during my mixtape days.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I knew him when I first moved to New York. But I am still, like, people still, for whatever reason, people still want to hear my voice in interviews. You know what I'm saying? People like the other interviews, but they get a little disappointed when it's not my voice. So when the traffic starts to dip a little bit, I got to step in and get things popping again. And certain guests, like me and Boosie have to be Vlad and Boosie. Me, Vlad and Tony Yayo, Vlad and TK Kirkland. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are certain combinations that are explosive, that work real big, and at the end of the day, I still have a passion for it.
Yeah.
So I would like to not have to do the regular guests all the time and so forth, but that drives a lot of traffic. But I am still very excited to do Smokey Robinson, Teddy Riley, Be Real from Cypress Hill. Like the people that I really was listening to before I ever got into the industry.
Right.
So there is still like a strong desire to really sit there and talk to that person. Like, I just did Robert Kiyosaki, who did Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Oh, man.
A book that I read. I did Neil deGrasse Tyson yesterday. You know what I'm saying? People who I admire, who I would love to just pick their brain and really see how they answer certain questions and learn certain things from them. And the fact that we could do it on camera and leave it for generations to come, and it turns into a monetary thing and so forth. Like, I'm always going to enjoy it. You know what I mean? Right. But certain things are done just to keep the business rolling, to make sure my employees still have work to do and so forth.
You had any big artists you had to turn down?
We have an R. Kelly interview that we're not going to put out.
Well, I don't. What?
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, I interviewed R. Kelly in prison, a week ago over the phone.
Why are you not going to put it on?
Because the interview that I wanted to do was not what he wanted to do. He wanted to lay out this conspiracy theory and bring in people and name certain people who I don't even want to associate with and that type of thing. And he wants to push that whole kind of situation. And for me, it's like, I just don't want to be part of that. You know what I'm saying?
So basically, he's implicating people in the conspiracy of bringing him down.
Yes.
And he's not taking any. He's not saying I'm guilty of any of this shit.
Well, he didn't get into all that, but he was trying to say that part of the reason why he's in jail is because these people worked against him and this, that, and the third. We didn't talk about any music. We didn't talk about any of his hits. We didn't talk about nothing. We just talked about that. Because you only get 15 minutes, on the jail phone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like...
Unless you tapped in.
Yeah, right, which I don't think he is. You know what I'm saying? And like, so we did this 15 minutes. And, I was dealing with someone that was close to him that set it all up. And I'm just like, this is just not the interview that I want. You know what I'm saying? So I told him I'm not going to put it out. I'd mentioned that I have it. You know what I'm saying? I think me and D.L. Hughley talked about it in our show, and we're talking about it again. But I'm not going to put out that interview. Wow. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So
it's crazy.
But it really is R. Kelly.
Was there anything in it that you felt like?
I mean, there's some stuff about his health in the beginning that was, like he's having like blood clots, and he was talking about how he had a cast on his leg and they wouldn't remove it, and he had to like use like a stick to like break the cast himself to remove it. And they finally removed it. They gave him some blood thinners and and so forth. So like he had some like a health scare. in there, but it was like, since I'm not putting out the other part, I didn't want to just put out this part, and it was just, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, was he in good spirits, or was it like a
No, I mean,
from the rip?
Yeah, he sounds like he's, fucked up in prison, which is understandable. I mean, you go from
It's kind of what
the
happens.
very
in prison.
height to now being in a dirty cell with a bunch of men, like
Pause.
potentially forever. You know what I mean? Potentially forever, because what did he get, like 40 years or some insane amount?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. And, ultimately,
Did you get a chance to talk about the 15-minute record that he put out?
no. Like he there was an agenda that he wanted to do from this interview. He had all his notes
He
laid
probably
out.
didn't want to talk about music at all.
No. There was like, okay, this is what happened, blah, blah. This person was involved, and this person was involved, and this is what they did to me, and this is how they turned against me. And I was like,
any of it like, this could be true?
well, all of it could be true, but it's really not my job to put myself in the middle of all this. You see what I'm saying?
Right, because
I can't really verify any of it, and he's naming specific people and so forth, and it's like, now I'm gonna have to be potentially liable for the people he's naming, and
might flag
I don't
your
like
page.
some of these people like that he's naming, and you know what I'm saying, I don't have good relationships with them anyway, so it's like, I'm cool. Just this is not the R. Kelly interview I wanted. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's just like,
How did you want it to go?
like a life story. Like, yo, how did you start doing music? Let's talk about your hit records. How did this come together? How did that come together? Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, just like we were offered.
His mindset ain't there right now.
Yeah.
No, he's.
Yeah.
And I can understand why. Like we were offered a Kanye interview, and the idea behind that interview, my plan was to say, I don't want to talk about the religious shit. I don't want to talk about the conspiracy shit. I want to talk about your music, what you're going to be remembered for. That was going to be the plan, but they canceled the interview like right before it happened. There was a bunch of interviews. He was supposed to do like No Jumper as well, and he canceled like all the interviews like that week. So it's like, and at the end of the day, like for example, like, some female employees also kind of had a problem, with this, the R. Kelly thing potentially coming out, because at the end of the day, it's like, I believe that he did it. Right? Like we all saw that tape that circulated back in the early 2000s. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, was there some conspiracy? Possibly, but does that negate the reality of what happened?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, was he really messing with underage girls? Yes, I think he was.
Right.
I think he was messing with Aaliyah when she was 15.
Right.
I think he impregnated Aaliyah.
Right.
I think he had. The girl in the video, I think that was an underage girl. Like, I mean, like years later after the news came out. So it's just like, do I want to help to free someone like this? No, I don't.
Right.
I don't. So yeah, that's some example.
And what I'm about to say is in no way a defense to all that. But I guess some of these laws like wouldn't work retroactively, because if you look in the history of like a lot of artists.
Oh, like Jerry Lee Lewis and
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Elvis Presley.
Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
Another one. Like these.
You know
guys
something,
were-
the Elvis Presley story, and this is not in defense of Elvis Presley, but there's always the story that like he got with his wife when she was 15. They met when she was 15, but he actually got married when she was 21. Yes. So there's that. People try to equate the two.
Was he smashing in between the time? That's the whole question.
That's the
You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
I don't know.
Marriage
We
to
know
what
what
matters. But I was gonna say there's a dude that advertised with us that just came home from jail with R. Kelly.
Okay.
He was locked up with him in the feds, and he's going on different platforms like telling the story that R. Kelly wants him to tell out here. I had a long conversation with this dude. He's like, yo, I need to come to Mav show, this, that, and the third. And I'm like,
yeah,
bro, I don't.
What's the story that's being said?
It's just it's him like pitting certain industry figures,
Yeah.
Like who?
and I'm not gonna say their names, bro.
All right, tell me I said.
Yeah, I'll tell you after.
Text me
10,
right
bro.
now so I can show
It's certain because we have relationships with these people.
He's
so
targeting
it's like,
your enemy.
But he's targeting
my enemy. I got enemies? Who
Someone that you don't like.
Yeah.
And he mentioned them earlier.
Well, we
It's-
getting
it's-
specific
you know,
now.
yeah, and what he's
I
trying to
didn't
do
say
is he's making a basis.
Everyone's like-
He's
I
making
didn't
a
say
basis saying that his case was illegal. He's not fighting it on the thing that he's innocent. He's fighting it on the stance that they illegally searched and obtained stuff to convict him.
Yeah.
And that is what he's standing on and trying to get out. He's trying to say,
Right.
that,
Well,
all right, what he did was wrong. But if you're going to convict him by the law, the same law he's saying that you convict him by, is you got to do it the right way.
Yeah.
Well, it's so tough when these type of subjects come up because I'm realizing, guilty or not, there's been so many cases of, you know, just I want to say this without offending anybody, which is like the hardest shit in the world. Like you think about what Jonathan Majors is going through, right?
Yeah. It's crazy. More women have come forward now that are cooperating
But this is what
with
I'm
the
saying.
police.
But this is what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
crazy.
pylon.
All of a
it's a
sudden.
pylon.
Pylon.
Is it a play for the bag?
This hot for trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rappers. Got bars I can hang with the backpackers. Trap star, I don't hang with the backpackers. I'm in the hood with the work you heard. Making fiends leave earth you heard. Got your baby mama thirst you heard. Feel the flow, nigga, throw it in reverse. This the wave you need to surf you heard.